misleading the public. You're lying to people.
We are part of a giant studio set. All the world's a stage, and you're on it.
Jesus Christ, and suck my dick. Suck my dick.
Suck my dick, Earth, with that bullshit.
Man's getting rude. Man's getting rude.
It could be a what's it? It could be an onion ring.
A hairless monkey zipping through the vacuum, or a potato rock.
Yeah, if we dumped what we found right now, we would be, it'd be bad. It would be bad.
Can't have can't have a flat earth and things making sense.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Gem's Flat Earth Sunday Roast. Tonight we bring you mud, glorious mud, plus Bob, and more Bob in our enormous spoil heap of Flat Earth filth. I am your host Gem, and returning to our panel tonight after winning the World Mud Wrestling Championship is my lovely co-host Twit.
Oh, thank you. It was close. It was between me and Bob, but I managed to take him out at the last.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been close. Come on. You'd have killed him. And joining us, as always, is our gardening correspondent, Lewis Hackett.
Thank you very much.
And directly from playing in his litter tray, it's the flat-friendly Cat Earth.
Man's getting rude, fam. Man's getting rude.
He was up shit creek, but thankfully with a paddle. Please welcome Soundly.
Hi, everybody.
And hopefully we'll be joined later from the filthiest part of the filthiest city in America by Scott Veach. We hope so. But he's late. That's our panel for this evening, so let's get gossiping. Good week, everyone.
Great week.
Quiet,
a long week.
A quiet week in Flat Earth, I thought.
Was it? I thought I had quite a lot of fun this week because there's been some. I don't know. I've just been dipping in and out. I've seen some people come and go, and some people say, I thought it's quite good. And Craig got porn bombed. That was crazy.
Well, it's not really in the Flat Earth though. He's sort of like he's on the side, like he's
without
like
Flat Earth, he wouldn't exist, Lewis. Let's be real.
Exactly.
Well, his video for afterwards was absolutely brilliant. So I had a good week just watching that. Watched it like 3 times. Good.
Wait, he had a video after?
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, you're ruining my life. I'm supporting my family with this and this and that." It's the same thing everyone cries about when they just here for the money.
So you can still post videos, but you can't live stream after that?
Right.
Yes, I think something like that. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought you were blocked until that was resolved.
Yeah, it still lets you post videos, but you can't do anything live. And I think there's a restriction on the length of the video you can post as well. I think I think it might put you back to 20 minutes or something like that.
How long are you blocked then? Because is that why Nathan
90 days
doing the replays?
3 months. Yeah.
Okay.
3 months.
Okay.
I know. So it's a big hit, that isn't it? If you've got a
That's a
regular
long
channel
time.
sort of thing.
Is the YouTube stream frozen by any chance?
Yeah, I'm stuck in this position for.
I don't know. The stream health is looking a bit ropey.
Is YouTube stream frozen by any chance?
Yeah, it is frozen.
Yeah, I'm stuck
I'm
in
sure
this position
Flashburn's
for.
probably behind this.
Oh, it's a great position, Lewis.
It does seem to be frozen, doesn't it?
Extremely manly and dominant in that position, Lewis.
There are many worse positions that I could have been frozen in.
I'm just worried that the clips aren't going to run.
Right, that's why I was asking.
Right. All right. Well, I guess the best thing to do is give it a try and see what happens, right?
Well, okay.
I don't know what I mean. Because if I restart the OBS, we did say we weren't going to do this with technical issues. I know, Cap. If I restart the OBS, I guess I don't know what will happen.
It will end the stream. I'm pretty sure.
Right. So I think it would.
But you can reset it and it will come back up on here. I think. I haven't streamed on YouTube ever, like with OBS, but on Twitch you could end it and come back, and it wouldn't disconnect this, it would just restart the stream.
Yeah, I think if you do an event, did you do an event, Jim?
Yeah.
I think
no, not an event.
Don't you have to actually stop it? If it's
yeah, but I think if I reboot OBS, it will stop it. Sorry about this.
No, but what it'll do is like when you see someone live streaming and it says live stream offline, and then like a few minutes later it comes back online. It'll just do that. It won't. It should keep the stream going for everyone.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what I will do. Hang on.
And the more I think about it, the more I think it's a really good idea. But before I get to some of my questions, Mitchell, you want to kind of give the audience a little bit of a an overview on what we're doing here and how you're going to try and proceed with this.
PewDiePie's fault. You broke the internet earlier.
Yeah, cool. So pretty much, put simply, we're putting a fishing line from one side of the lake to another and pulling it tight. And the theory is that if there is a bulge of water in the middle of this lake, then the line will get pulled under the water in the middle, and that will be measurable. My first test site is a saltwater lake. It's 2.2 miles maximum long. So over that 2.2 miles, there should be a quite considerable bulge, and that will be 9.8 inches in the middle. After I do my tests, I'm going to make this line available to whoever can replicate this, because it needs to be repeated and verified so we can actually make an objective truth out of this.
It is going to need to be repeated to other places in other parts of the world, but I think that's awesome, because if somebody like Soundly, Slice Barcane, Wolfie, Red, if they don't agree with the results, if we don't see that line cut through the water, well, they're absolutely welcome to repeat the test somewhere where they think that they will see that. And the fact comes down to, if the Earth is not curved, then there will be no way for that line to cut through the water.
We need both Flat and Globe to agree on a test that will be able to prove either one side or the other. I'm not just going out here to prove that it's flat. I actually want to find the truth. If it's a globe, so be it, and it's been a good ride, but I can't see how, if the line does not go under the water, I can't see how there is any argument at all it being a globe.
So, there are definitely people out there that are of the opinion that this will never work. There are other people that think that it's going to, even if it's flat, it's going to prove a ball Earth, which of course is a retarded argument, but whatever, it's been raised. We've gotten quite a mixed response on this from people. What are some of the objections that are most prevalent that people have mentioned to you with, as far as problems with this experiment?
One of the big things was the catenary curve, which you kind of addressed last week, and I kind of touched on that today, being people are arguing that every single line has a catenary curve, but that only applies for if it is being held up only supported at both ends. So the argument for that is it's been actually done in the water, so it'll be buoyed up at every point. Another good argument is wind.
And all of this, of course, is to appease the ballers that, won't even take in the most obvious of evidence or admit to it. But you know what? I don't think we're really out to prove this to the troll ballers like, Wolfie or Slice Barcane. We're out to show this to the general public and let them form their opinions, because they don't know about Slice Barcane or Wolfie or any of their, rhetoric that is simply not applicable to these experiments. I think it's actually better if they're not really part of a community, because then they can actually kind of look at this with a clean mind without all the flotsam and background noise that's being raised by the trolls.
I can't see it being denied, whatever the result is. And I think a lot of people are kind of on the fence with this whole issue. It's really solid evidence to kind of change people's minds about what the Earth is around us, and that's kind of what I really want to get across.
Yep, absolutely, and I think it will. So, anyway, I think it's a great idea. I have definitely supported it. Jaren has supported it. This, I think, is one of the best solutions, to date that I've heard. So, I wish you great luck on it, Mitchell, and we're definitely in there pulling for you. But as far as I can see, I think it's going to work. I think it's a great idea. So there you have it.
This, I think, is one of the best solutions.
Thanks for your time and for the support.
It's Mitchell from Australia, and this is Talk the Line Spectra Fail, where I'll be going over my latest test results and showing that the Spectra line is not rated to the 78 pound braking strength and 50 pound manufacturer rating. But as you'll see in these next few tests, it's still proved that the Spectra, or the attachment method, was not well suited to this test. Now this test I took a bit more time and was stringing it out over about 5-minute periods, but it still only got to about 41 pounds. Now I've sent the Spectra line back to the supplier, who's going to send it to the manufacturer. They're going to test it on their line testing machine, and when they prove it is faulty, they've said they will issue me a full refund. Now, I will be getting in contact with all the donors who donated for this line because it is crowd-funded.
I wouldn't refund that, sorry, as a shop owner myself.
Interesting. I mean, I don't know whether the line is faulty. I think he's yanking that, you know, he's got that dustbin or trash can that he's using, that they've got a ballast in. And I think that he's taking it over the braking strain when he sort of yanks that thing back. But it's not showing on the meter because at that point the line's giving way. So,
right.
I think that's what might be going on there. But it was never going to work, was it? Let's face it. Everyone said it wasn't going to work. Bob seemed convinced it would.
Yeah, he said the same experiment should be done all over the world.
Right, yeah. I mean, that's the idea. They were going to keep using this same line because they've got 5,000 meters of it or something. It's cost them, I think it was $900 just for the line.
It's not that bad.
No, I guess it's one of the cheaper experiments in a way.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to end up proving anything because they're going to have a sag. The line is going to sag, so like they're not going to be able to use that data at all.
How do they expect it to work? Because shouldn't it be in the water in either case?
Well,
like if it's a flat Earth, wouldn't it sag into the water?
But this is what I don't get, because they're saying originally the idea was to sort of cut it across the top of the water, and it should cut a sort of bulge. But then the sort of catenary curve objection came in, and then they said, well, the line itself is buoyant, so then it will be buoyed up by the water all the way along.
Is it supposed to be in the water or out of the water?
Right, so then they're saying they're doing it. Then they're saying they're doing it in the water, a few inches below the water. Bob actually says that in that thing as they're trying to clarify it. So I don't really. So then they're sort of trying to calculate, if you like, I would say a reverse catenary curve, because it's going to be, you know, more buoyant in the middle.
Right.
If it's attached at the ends, you'd have thought. So, and then of course you've got wind, you know, current. Or well, it's in a lake, but you know, there's still, it could be movement in the water. You know, twigs and stuff getting caught on it. I mean, I just think I just don't see how you're going to get anything like a clear result from this. Is the way I see it.
I have to applaud them for trying. I think maybe they should start small, maybe do a quarter mile and a half a mile.
Yeah, I mean,
a mile.
To be fair, this test that he was showing, it was over a very short distance.
2 point something mile.
But there's going to be tremendous strain on this fishing line, no matter how they set this up. I don't see how they're going to get under the stress rating of the line. It's going to snap every time.
I think so, and that seemed to be borne out by what we saw there.
Yeah, even
if you looked at his numbers, he was trying to say that the total weight of the line was less than a pound or something. So he's thinking that he can torque that thing up to whatever the limit is. I think it was 50 pounds.
Yeah, it was 50 pounds, and I think the breaking point was 79 pounds or something like that. But in those demonstrations, I think the highest one was the last one we saw, which was like 41 pounds or something like that, that it showed on his meter. But I'm not sure. I'm not convinced he's actually measuring the strain.
I'd like to see the actual formula, the calculator, to determine exactly how much force you'd have to put on that and how straight it would get.
Right. I mean,
it's got to be a 2 mile string. It's got to be a lot, right?
To be fair, he has been pretty thorough. On his the channel is called Talk the Line. The link's in the description.
I'm not opposed to the experiment for sure. Yeah.
Right. It just, I think he seemed to think that this was going to be the killer blow sort of thing. And of course, as we always see when they do these experiments, they always, when it actually comes to practically doing it, it's never that simple, is it?
Right.
How much did he end up actually crowdfunding this for? How much was it? How much did it actually cost for almost 3 miles?
I think he went for a couple of $1,000 because I think, as I say, I think the line itself was something like 900, and then he said, well, it would be useful actually if I had a little kayak that I could move around on because I've got to go up and down this line to check it, and there were various other things. I think there was eventually there was a drone on the list, but he didn't want to buy a drone. He just wanted someone to come with a drone to see the experiment take place. So yeah, there's been a number of these. I mean, they've sort of taken this as a brand now, this whatever the line thing, because I think originally there was Brian Mullen with his, I think it was called Force the Line, wasn't it?
Force the Line. But that's what Soundly's work ended up being, didn't it, really? It was kind of like a Force the Line in real life.
Well,
right.
That's what I remember anyway.
That's true.
I'm sorry, how many of the actual experiments that have been done so far, the similar ones to this, have they actually succeeded in getting any kind of results?
I don't think. I mean, there's one I noticed. It's called Force the Laser Line. That one. And then what else? There's another one that I think that Jesse Kozlowski and 2 other geodetic surveyors were doing a critique on, and I can't remember. They're using some other device for that. I can't remember what that one is, but all of them seem to be flawed. Actually, it's an FE core one, that is, and they reckon they've come up with some new way of measuring elevations that's better than what is currently being used. But the geodetic surveyors were basically laughing at that and saying, what are you talking about? This won't work at all, sort of thing. So, but yeah, it's just interesting that they're using this sort of brand, and it's interesting as well that Bob always seems to make this. Oh yeah, we're going to get the ballers with this, it's all a bit juvenile, I think.
Flat Earth juvenile, don't be silly. Serious business here. Come on.
Shall we move on?
We shall.
Right, what have we got next? Oh yeah, the Guardian did an article this week on the UK, basically on Flat Earth, but they did quite a lot of coverage of the UK activists. It was, how long was it? It was about 15 minutes, I think. But anyway, we've got a few minutes of it here for you to enjoy. Where has it gone?
God, I love watching anything the Guardian produce. This should be good.
Clearly heading in a very dystopian direction.
I'd like to know how desperate our schools are. What was the school that allowed that? in hell. What the hell?
Look, I'm going to have to put you in a special school.
It must have been a special school. Bob's special school.
Yeah, that was good, wasn't it?
Funny.
You could just imagine them. Yes, Bob, you have to go to school on the special bus because you're a genius. That's why.
I'd like to know more about the utopia that Flat Earth is promising us.
No, yeah. Where is that coming from? Right. It seems to me, though, that is, and really I think that's what this report brings out. He mentions what Roxanne went through. I can't remember who else they do, but, we often see this in Flat Earth. People who have had some sort of traumatic thing happen to them. Or maybe not something terrible like that, but things that just happen, like the death of loved ones or the end of a love relationship, and that seems to be the thing that comes at the beginning of Flat Earth. So I've lost my point a little bit there.
Yeah, it's true. Of losing your mind, kind of thing. Yeah, you're looking for solace.
Well, what I was going to say was, I think people are looking for this escape, for it all to be swept away, or all these problems to go away, and to be,
would you say they're
replaced wholesale with, I guess, as Twit says, this utopian ideal?
Would you say they're looking for love in all the wrong places?
Well, we've all done that.
I had a saying that was, you're having a hard time in life, but Flat Earth is not the solution. My personal experience. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was quite funny as well. She mentioned, because Rusted Soul was asking in the chat, she was saying that Trump is the reason people are critical of the media. And I thought it was quite funny because she's quite new to the whole conspiracy thing, really. I mean,
right.
People have been critical of the media long before Trump. I mean, that's how Trump got in, I think, if anything, not the other way around. But
right, but I thought she made quite a good point, about the kids going around saying, you are fake news. I can imagine that being a thing, and that does put it into sort of mainstream consciousness, and it is a thing, isn't it? Where sometimes people are now referring to this as the post-truth era. It is a thing, and also I guess the thing I wanted to say as well about kudos to Roxanne. I mean, I didn't know her story, and it sounds like she's gone through something really terrible, and she's full of beans, isn't she? She gets stuff done. I mean, it's
she's a really
wrong
nice person.
Stuff, but
no, she's a really nice person, honestly. Because the way from meeting her, I saw her was that she's kind of like the mother of the group, and she wants to take care of everyone and make sure everyone's all right, and and she was welcoming to me as an outsider. So yeah, she's a nice person, really, really nice. She's just batshit insane right now. We should get over it one day.
Any thoughts, Lewis?
Not really. I don't know. It's just more of these people are lost, and it's just, I don't know. I get sad thinking about it.
I think this is the second news report now where they've gone a little bit more in depth. They spent a bit more time. I'm thinking of the National Geographic one as well, where they're starting to see this as being something a bit more serious, and they're not just doing the whole, hey, look at these quaint eccentrics kind of angle that we've often got from media on this. So I think it's interesting in that. Also,
I think it's definitely a testament. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I say it's definitely a testament to how big, because I know we in this little community it feels like it's dying because they're dropping off one by one, Right. But I think it's a testament to how big the idea has become, because obviously most people will mock it, but most people have heard of it. That's the thing now. It's sort of reached a critical point, and I always thought like a year ago or two that it needs to get to this point to really defeat it, because it really needs to just get out there. It can't be it's easy for them to think we're idiots. Do you know what I mean? Flat earthers, like, oh, you just don't get. But when it becomes so big and so well known, so I think it is a good sign that the media are picking all this up and addressing it.
Yeah, I personally don't think it's dying. I know other people have said that. Cordis definitely believes it's dying.
Right.
Because of the trend lines or whatever. I don't think it's dying. I think it's been what it's always been. It's a revolving door. There are people that come in, they go full-fledged down the rabbit hole really quick, and then eventually they start looking into it on their own, and they find their way out. But there are other people that don't. But I think there's, people coming out, falling out of it, and there's new people coming into it. And every time there's one of these stories, they're just drawing people towards the convent, basically.
I totally agree. I was saying this to Jem a while ago that I don't really, if you take like a month or two out and you come back, you won't recognize half the flatties. You really won't. Like, they're all new. But if you're here all the time, they're sort of revolving slowly. You don't notice, but take a bit of time off, and it's just a whole bunch of new crowd. You've got your obvious, like John Watson, you, and all the the usual suspects. I'm just talking about looking at chats and people making comments, really.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely a revolving door, I think, and you're not going to hear much from most people when they leave. They're just going to disappear, I think.
Right.
What do you reckon to this idea of sort of polarized society and divided societies? I keep hearing, I keep hearing this in the media, but is that happening? Where is it happening?
A polarized society,
right?
Everywhere, Jem, at all levels of society. I think Flat Earth's just another one of these things to get people arguing. But we're arguing over genders. We're arguing over all kinds of things,
But is that new? Is that something that I don't know.
No, it's not new. I think we could always be more united, but I think until people stop using money and like the divisions grow to a point where the structures that we have in place can't cooperate, if we get to that point, then I think it'd be fair to say that, we've been divided and that's a real problem. But like, we're still cooperating just fine. Things are getting done. And like, even all the people on the left and on the right in the United States, the ones who think Trump is a literal Russian agent and the other ones, would die for him or whatever. Like, even in that division, like, we're still all cooperating on a daily basis. So I don't.
But I don't think there's been a time I can remember where, like, say Trump won, right, and people are trying to overturn that even today. Do you know what I mean? Or trying to remove a democratic decision. We have the same thing with Brexit over here. I've never seen a time where things are more vitriolic against the other side, or more, the other people are just like when I was younger, like Labour, Conservative, that's our left and right over here. Okay, they didn't get on, but nowadays it's like, you'll get called all kinds of things, racists and this and that, and I don't think I've ever seen a time since I was younger where people are more interested in politics, actually, and that's what's dividing people. Maybe because it's important. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. But I really feel like everything nowadays is to try and divide everyone.
Well, Brexit has definitely been over your guys' head for years now, right? I mean, that's probably why more people involved these days, because it's this long, drawn-out process that you guys are going through.
Yeah, but the thing is, right, there was a time where we would do something and, okay, we don't like the decision, we don't like the new government, whatever, you get over it and you just carry on, right? But now it's like, no, we should go back and overturn things. And the way people are being made to feel that that's possible is by putting this insane propaganda out there on both sides where the other people are enemies. So we feel like we should throw away our entire democracy for our own beliefs. Do you know what I mean? Just so our own beliefs can win. And to me, I think that's quite new in my life anyway, 30 odd years. I haven't seen this when I was young.
So did anybody actually catch how lovingly gentle Ranty was holding his camera? I felt like at that moment when I saw that, I thought, this is a guy who really appreciates the gift of this camera that he received. I think he probably takes really good care of it. He probably tucks it in bed, you know, so that it's nice and comfy and safe. I think he probably treats that camera like it is a baby. And I think that's great.
Good.
Yeah.
I can't tell if you're being serious or sarcastic right
Oh
now.
no, I think so.
I you know, Soundly, I think that a lot of people, this is where I guess my little cringe comes from when I see people begging for money or asking for money or asking for products on the internet. I feel like there's something in me that says a lot of people who get things without working for it, like actually putting the labor in for it,
right.
Don't really take care of it. They tend to just, you know, treat it as, well, if I break this, I'll just get something else kind of thing. So when I see somebody taking care of something that cost, you know, his donators, the people that donate it to him, and you know, costs him quite a bit of money. It's an expensive piece of equipment, and he's really taking care of it. And that it makes me feel good about it. I didn't donate any money, but
we should have a show just on e-begging. That would
be my ears got hot when I started even talking about it.
There's so much of it, isn't there? I don't know if anyone caught Arwen's show today. Do you know what? I should probably shut up because I've managed to look. I was going to get through a whole show without featuring Arwen.
No,
but
it's too late now.
But Jose went on there and said hello, and Arwen asked him for, you know, Jose's got the camera that Jaren sent him, and Arwen started saying, well, I think I should have that camera. You should send that to me.
Why? Why?
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
And Jose said, well, you know, I want to sort of keep it for now. I'm still using it, but I'll send you this other one, this cheaper one. Arwen had no interest in that whatsoever. He only wanted the P900.
I'm going to stick up for Arwen. Jose, send him the camera. You're not a flatty anymore. You don't need it anymore. How much more convincing do you need? Send it to Arwen. It might help him. It might have a magic spell on it. Or
that is a trophy. That camera. It's like it's like a captured flat Earth flag that we've got now, and it's ours now, and we should never ever give it back.
No, but what if it does have a magic spell on it? Imagine if you sent it to Arwen and it became a baller.
Oh.
Then we just have to start sending the camera around.
I get where you're going from here. I like it.
I think that Arwen's fans should, you know, do the right thing and fundraise for him, and hopefully he can get a camera. But I mean, it's going to be difficult because they pretty much have to pay for his daily life. So on top of that, a $1,000 camera is going to be pretty tough to come up with.
Well, he was saying he thinks he can get one before the summer. So.
Oh, well, that's good news.
I know. I did try and point out in his chat that he should realise that having this camera will require that he goes outside. But I think I'm blocked in his chat, so I don't think he saw it.
You know, I can't remember. You know, just I can remember seeing Arwen on Nathan's throughout the summer and whatnot. But did he wear black T-shirts? I mean, is black like his choice of clothing, or is that just a winter thing?
Isn't he a bit sort of emo-y, gothic-y sort of, you know, isn't he a bit...
He goes with his hair. Yeah, I don't like. Can you imagine in a white T-shirt? It would look weird because he's got the very black hair and it's like slicked back.
It's a good contrast there.
We spent some time talking about his hair in the chat today, actually. I managed to totally distract what was going on. He wasn't really saying much, you know. He was kind of eating on camera. So I went in there and said something about, you know, we need to sort his hair out. And he couldn't see my comments. But everyone else started talking about hair. And so then he started talking about sort of hair and beauty tips.
Well, he is very youthful, Jem. I mean, he must have some tips like on that list.
It made me think of all those times when flat earthers have said, oh, they're only here to distract. And I thought, well, actually, I very successfully distracted that hangout today. It wasn't really doing much to be distracted from, but, you know. If I wanted to push my agenda of better hair care, then, you know, I would be due a shield check for this work.
Yeah,
I did
L'Oreal.
Right. Well, better say hi to the chat, hadn't I? So let's get that horrible task out of the way. First here this evening was Jose J.G. Gonzalez, the very same, followed by John Watson. Well, that's good.
He got banned. So.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he?
Poor John.
And then the next person here was Mark Taylor. So I'm guessing it was him that did the banning.
He banned him. Yeah.
A little story is told there, isn't it, with just those two arrivals there. Sean G is with us. Good evening. A legendary super looming perspective hijacking hyena is with us. Good evening. Flashburn 52. Hi. Shout out to Shroomy. Cigarface is with us again. Good evening, Cigarface. Termin is with us. Good evening. Who else have we got? Pedro Gonzalez. There's another Gonzalez. Monkey Sage, good evening. Fluffy is with us. Al K, good evening to you. Laurie Gale, good evening. Farmer's Boy. God, there's some new names in here that I'm having to look at. Add 2, good evening to you. Shout out to Shroomy again. Rusted Soul, good evening, Rusted.
Shout out Shroomy.
Captain Bullshit's with us. Hi, Captain.
Isa's here.
Isa. Hi, Isa. I saw Isa. It's Isa, isn't it? I would say.
Is it Isa?
Yeah,
Isa.
I would say Isa. Tony V is with us. Good evening, Tony. And Stone is with us. Hi, Stone. Charlie's
Matt's
here. I'll call a few out to it. Yeah, help me out. I'm crap.
Matt is here with us tonight. Matt. Slam Free Poetry. And of course, Al K. We haven't mentioned him. And Rig. He's hanging on for dear life underneath us in Australia.
I've got Patina Crackler. That's a name and a half. Beautiful name.
There is
go ahead.
Space Dig. He's a new one.
Universal Communications. I'm sorry, say that one again.
Space Dig.
Oh, yeah, Space Stig. I saw that. I wondered if that was the other Stig.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
But then I think he was saying, how could he get in the chat? If you want to join us at some point, do drop me a message or join our Discord. And if I like the cut of your jib, you can come on the show. Blue Nigger is with us with an A, I should add. Hi, Space Stig, I can see. I think I'm near the bottom now, actually. Dan Pratt. I have a feeling that may be a sock account. Sometimes I catch myself eating a nice Hot Pocket, thinking about the dome and controlled opposition. Oh, is that Dan Pratt? Is that Dan Pratt? I can't really see very well. I'm getting old. Effie Level is with us. Good evening. I'm racing through. Bass is with us. Who have I forgotten? Anyone I've forgotten? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Oh, Beyond Practical Examples is here. Good evening to you.
Rusted Soul is also here.
Rusted as well. Hi, Rusted. Good to see you. That's got that done. Right. Mud.
Globe Earth Perth. There you go.
And Rich.
Globe Earth Perth. There's a Flat Earth Perth. He's another one that's raising money for something, isn't he? I can't remember what he wants. But there's a Flat Earth Perth-a-thon, isn't there? So, let's talk about mud, shall we? This mud flood thing, I'm sure everyone has sort of come across. And I think most people have done what I've done and have just sort of thought, what's this crap, and ignored it. So I thought we'd have a nice Mud Flood 101 this evening. It's quite a big chunk, and I'm afraid, dear audience, you are about to be hit by a veritable barrage of bullshit. Just how many stupid ideas there are in this next clip, I don't know. I can't count, but it's a lot. So, do enjoy.
Tataria may be where where most of us live now may be former Tataria and we never knew it. And in particular, the United States has, it seems, a history that goes back much farther than what we've been taught. And in the nutshell, it seems that these structures, like you're showing now, have been around much longer than previously believed. To think that pioneers came into an area, they're depicted as living in log cabins in drawings, but as soon as you get to photographic evidence, they have these grand structures that could just as easily be found in Paris and other places.
You know, one of the amazing things that I found in this particular video that I'm showing right now are photographs of the World's Fairs. Now, this part absolutely dumbfounded me. The narrative on these pictures is that these were built exclusively, these massive, ornate, unbelievably beautiful structures and waterways and all this stuff was built just for the World's Fair and then were torn down immediately afterwards. That is just preposterous.
The doorways don't make sense to me. Every portal in the building has these extreme dimensions that don't really match up to what we would build today.
You know, going back 2 centuries or 2,000 years or before, the Romans at that time could very well have been these giants. But, you know, with the amount of skeletal remains that is actually being recovered and archaeologists have, you know, all but covered up, I think that this speaks a lot to the idea that there really were giants and there really were these larger people back in those times.
Well, our starting point for all of this recent reset is the events of 1811 through to 1816, concluding then, okay? That's the reset period. And everything was cleaned up by around 1840s, 50s, okay? Now, the events were plain wide. It started with a comet that came over. There was mud volcanoes springing up in Virginia. 6 months of earthquakes, 2,700 and odd in number, okay? This was how many? From November 1811 through to April. What we think is going on is it's a Masonic, Illuminati, New World Order conspiracy to wipe out Tartary.
Who do you think the Tartarians actually were, and maybe even what are they, or what were they?
These are them, and they have chainmail on, right? But it's crazy chainmail, guys, because it covers your face, all your face. You can go online now, you can buy electromagnetic protection chainmail. So I think they're using sort of EM weapons at this stage. But these are Tartars. They're said to be descended from like the days of the Crusades, and they are very tough people indeed. And the narrative says that the Tartars took over all of Europe, and this was in a period when we were obviously colonizing America, so, you know, it doesn't take a giant leap of the imagination, and they were there as well. So what I propose is the civilization that we call Greco-Romano is in fact a greater civilization called Tataria. Here it is here. It's the entire continent of Asia, all the way up to sort of Moscow. Their architecture is everywhere. Now, this is America, guys. For some reason, the same architecture is replicated the entire world over, and these have been there a hell of a long time. Now, these are supposed to have been built in the mid-1800s, in what they call the Victorian era. Now, they do a thing called a ground reclamation for all the American cities at a certain point of time in the 1800s, where they say they remove hills and level them. What we propose is there was a giant mud event prior to all of this, early 1800s, the reset period concerning them events that I was talking about earlier. The mud came in this deep, it buried this old civilization, as you can see here, even ships further down, okay? Now, I'm saying the reset cycles, John, are over and over again, and they've been going on a hell of a long time, and it's exactly the same MO, exactly the same. Things get ruined. This civilization, they call Greece or Rome, in this case Egypt, is wrecked, and then the survivor times, they set up again civilization, They use control over, the last time, the 1800s, using orphans.
Martin, in your opinion, are these things random events or are they known natural events?
No, I think they know about them, Jerry, and I think they're cyclical. I think the controllers are completely aware, or what we called, or we decoded, is called technasmia, guys. This is going to blow your mind. It's just the most incredible of things, and it really exists. What we find is over all of Europe and most of the world, actually, these aluminium or these steel or metal bollards and drain covers, and also these little nugget things. They're all over Europe, and these, which are chains and bollards. So what we think is, with this gathering of basically electrostatic charge from spires of churches, because churches are not churches, they are taken over by an institution after a reset. They don't know what these things are for, and these devices, they harness, they can collect, store and release at will electromagnetic, which are collected from their towers. You always get 2 at a time. Also, they got a thing, technasmia, which is vibrational science by using organ music at a specific frequency, like 432, and they're pumping it out, guys, into the ether, and it's making people well, it's making plants grow well, and the whole place is really, really cool. But they dismantled it. It's called technasmia. The scientists proved, and they say in the science, that when comets go over, because they're made of plasma, or their tails are plasma, they come low. You can see what would be towers or Italian towers, and you get them with churches. They come with the domed building, and then the big, what we call technasmia building, which you call a church. And they collect basically charge and different properties from the ether. So we think that the technology is a vibrational technology which could liquefy and cause mud flows, volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, and reset the place.
This is actually an active one of these energy capturing devices. Let's watch this actually work.
So, yeah, these things, sure. When you were in school, they taught you about castles, but they never taught you about star forts. In fact, they didn't tell anyone about star forts. So the depiction you're looking at here is a Middle Ages, guys, depiction of a star fort. Now, the first thing that comes to your attention is, wow, how can that be Middle Ages? It's highly technical. It looks like something very, very futuristic. It's got a tower block in the middle, and it's very reminiscent of a circuit board. But there's more to star forts you can ever imagine, guys. They're based on fractal geometry. We believe them to be weapons, but we also believe them to be somewhere where the elites will bug out in these events. I think that the elites use these because they got tunnel systems, going to them. You can see, guys, that they're so futuristic and so advanced. They're beyond us, guys. We can't even really work out what's going on. Our God-given right, guys, we should all be living in a golden age. We shouldn't be having it all stacked against us from the off. We should be having, all of us, equally a fair crack at this whatever wedding, But that's not the way. It's engineered, and everything is against us from these.
And it's still happening.
It's still happening, brother.
Yeah, I want whatever he's smoking. I need it now.
Holy shit.
Is that what he's been doing?
Where do you even start? There's so much there.
Bob thought that the doorways were that was good. The doorways are too big, so giants probably built them.
Oh, he loved the giants thing, did Bob? He seemed to think there was a lot going for that.
I think, we'll talk about that later. I think,
right?
Won't we?
Yeah.
Let's watch one of these energy gathering devices working.
Right. I mean, I was perhaps a little unfair. There was a little bit more of that clip, but what you see if you look really, really closely is there's a sort of diffraction going on right at the top of the spire. I guess it's catching some sunlight somehow, and so it looks, you've got sort of a lens flare thing going on there.
I got you.
And that's what they're saying is actually happening. It took me a while to spot it, and actually, probably at this point, I should say kudos to me for this, because this was originally a 3-hour Globebusters presentation.
I was actually gonna mention that. It looks like you spent just a crap ton of time editing.
Oh my god, it took so long. Because normally when I do this, you see, I start with the 3 hours and think, right, which bits are poignant, and I'll take chunks out, and I end up with, an hour. And then I think, right, I just keep going through that process and basically dumping stuff along the way, and to end up with, I don't know, it's 8 minutes or something, 8.5 minutes, I think. So, but yeah, I mean, just the magnitude of this conspiracy with all the different elements to it was quite a shock, I have to say.
So is he shocked? I mean, I was actually surprised by this, but is he shocked that human beings have been able to build buildings for a long time? Because that's what it seems like.
That is essentially what a lot of it is about. That's why I included the bit at the beginning about the World's Fairs, because they often centre on these World's Fairs, and for a lot of these, expos and things, they sort of made fake buildings, like facades and things like that, so it looks like it's some great thing, but it's all just plywood and plaster and things like that.
Right.
And
it's like a Hollywood set.
Right, and of course they see these and say, how did they manage to build this in all this time? Or there'll be, one of the examples that we've been shown in our server a lot is it was a synagogue in San Francisco, and where there weren't enough Jews there to have made this in this time. And a lot of it also is that they'll talk about the lack of photographic evidence for stuff in a time when there were hardly any cameras, when they'd just been invented. And they say, there's no pictures of this building being constructed. Well, no, because people didn't. Who wants a picture of a building, of a construction site?
Back then.
People wanted pictures of beautiful completed architecture, not just piles of bricks with men and horses standing around them.
I'd like to say that, like, not very long ago, to take pictures, you still had to go buy film, and
right.
It wasn't like you could just take a picture and be like, no, that wasn't good enough, let me rewind. No, that slot was gone. You have to buy more film to take more pictures. It's not like digital cameras these days.
Well, at that time, it would have been glass plates, so it wouldn't have even been film. And they were expensive, and often actually were recycled. I think there are many of the existing Civil War photos, American Civil War photos, have come from greenhouses, where the glass was reused in people's greenhouses, and then discovered years later.
Amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, that was mud floods. What do you think, Twit? Are you a mud flooder? Did we lose Twit?
Oh no, I'm here.
I know you'd seen a bit of Martin, because I should say as well, sorry to cut you off, the people we heard were Martin Liedtke, who's a sort of well-known flat Earth British, his channel is, and the other guy's called UAP. His channel's called UAP Channel. The links are in the description. And then, of course, you heard Bob, and that was on Globebusters. Sorry, go ahead, Twit.
Oh, no, I really don't know what to say about this other than what we're going to get into in a little bit with Vegan Warrior. I just think that maybe, a genius should probably know that, thinking about let's talk about something that's kind of kooky and nutty, but let's just talk about it. But it's along the lines of Narnia or Hogwarts or something like that. But have some fun with it, but let's not promote it.
Right.
And if we do, let's know that it's just going to make us look a little bit more crazy.
It certainly does. I mean, one of their claims is that history. How did he describe it? He said history reduces to like a trickle of information in 1811. And that just isn't true. There's like hundreds of local newspapers being printed at that time all over the world, and you can access these now. I mean, I guess their claim is that they've been fake news recreated or something, but I just don't know where they get this idea from that history, they've sort of created a sort of dark age of where there's no information coming out, kind of thing. It's just
right.
in their imagination.
It's interesting because that you'd say we are kind of being told that it's like a dark age according to the way that some of the flat earthers make us feel right now. And then in the previous segment, there was the one guy that was talking about we should be. I think I don't even remember who it was, but it said we should be in a golden era, a golden age now with this technology we don't have apparently.
Right. It's like it's like we were saying. They're sort of longing for this utopia where energy will be free and all.
Basically, all your bare essentials are just going to be provided for you.
Right.
It seemed like all they need to do is play the organ at a certain frequency and then figure out how to tap into this secret energy grid, and they'll be all
right.
That's the thing that's amazing to me with all these guys. It's like you're making all these claims. If this stuff actually works, then go build it. Let's go. What are you waiting on? Why are we waiting? Why are we not having this free energy now? If you know how it works, come on.
But with Martin, I'm not sure if he is making a claim, because if I've gone and seen his show, and at the start of it, he sort of says, "Well, this is all a bit tongue in cheek, guys. It's almost like he's saying, look, none of this is actually true, but let's just pretend it is for the next couple of hours," and off he goes.
Well, that's one thing. I mean, he has found a lot of great old pictures, like really old pictures. But I guess that I've caught him in the times when he's not said. It was after he said, this is just let's have some fun. I came in and here I'm talking about this picture as an example of the evidence we have that shows the mud flood happened and.
Oh, and fish people. There's fish people, wasn't there? That was
the fish people. I mean, but see, I find it interesting the way it's spread, because with a lot of us, we have David who was in the Discord who was talking about the mud flood right after it kind of started coming out through Martin, but it was still real fresh and new, and not a lot of people were talking about it. But we were able to hear about it a lot from David in Discord. And then the next thing you know,
that was the Tennessee thing.
Yeah. It kind of all went in there with the San Francisco and
Nashville was another one.
Nashville, San Francisco.
Oh, Alaska, when it used to be part of Russia and it was sold to America.
The first time I heard of Tartaria was from David. But it's interesting to see. It's interesting to see how it came from someone like David, and to see a top brass like Bob talking about it next,
And David also was talking about a fishing line experiment a long time ago as well. David always seems to be like slightly ahead of the stupid wave.
Which is really strange if you think about it, but
maybe he's the originator.
Yeah.
Maybe they bounce ideas off of him.
Maybe he went to Bob's special schools.
That's why he comes to our Discord. He bounces the ideas off of us, sees how triggered we get, and whichever one gets us most triggered, that's what they run with.
I wouldn't be surprised. I just think as well, it's a bit, to me, it's a bit silly because he spent a lot of time looking at books and history books and things, but it just seems like he's cherry picking because, history's fake, but where are they getting all this information? Where are they getting all the pictures? We could just go say those pictures are fake. It just feels like they just choose what they want.
Exactly. That's what I think. They say history's fake, but they're reliant upon history ultimately, aren't they? And and as you say, they've just got to cherry pick the bits they want and say, wow, look at this. It seems totally illogical. How is it that these photographs how have they, survived undoctored by the powers that be? How has that happened? It doesn't add up. But I don't know. I mean, Martin's show, he gets when he has 900 live viewers.
Wow.
Really? Yeah, actually, yeah.
I mean, it's very popular. It seems to be,
The guy's genuine.
Yeah, don't you feel he has a lot of respect, or I can't think of the exact word, flat earth sort of kudos, because he does seem the most genuine, I think. Does a lot of work.
Not just genuine, he actually puts in work. He's gone to the museums, he's researched the books, he's dug out pictures that I don't even know if you can find on Google.
Right. That's true.
So
a lot of his stuff does come from old books, and he always did this actually. Even in Flat Earth, he'd root out these old books from the libraries and stuff like that. And I don't know where he gets it all from, but I watched his show a couple of times, and I was like, how has he got this? He got all these old maps and stuff like that, and you thought, he, as you say, he does. He puts a lot of effort into it,
Do you remember him getting kicked out of that museum? Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
That was one of the best moments, in my opinion, of Flat Earth history.
Yeah, that was... all he had to do was ask... he had to fill a form in or something, didn't he? And
Yeah, you can't just walk around filming our stuff, bro. It's like that in most museums.
Well, I looked... I looked at the... part of it is... they've got... they've got, human remains on display and things like that, so... you do have to be sensitive to these sort of things, They've got, Egyptian displays and things like that, so... and plus, these days, there's people in there with kids, and people are always a bit sensitive about cameras near children these days, aren't they? So, I know it's all a bit crazy. I can remember taking my kids ice skating, and or get the camera out, and there's a bouncer comes bounding up to you. You can't take pictures.
Really?
Yeah, in an ice stadium.
Yeah, it's a bit mad. But I just thought, the museum thing's different. Because now they are quite let you do, because everyone's got cameras and they kind of let you do that. But
right,
just a few years ago, it was, a lot of museums are sensitive about you walking in there and just filming everything.
But they'll still let you do it. They just want you to fill a form in, and you basically sign to say you've read their rules of what you can and can't film, because there's art on display as well, and that.
Yeah.
You can't necessarily just go and film somebody else's picture or photograph it,
Yeah, you go get high res photo, start printing them off.
Right. Anyway, I guess we should move on. Bob was seemed quite enthusiastic about this whole mudflood thing, in particular about the giants, and this was not well received by all flat earthers. And I'm very lucky actually to have got this clip from a channel called Trolls vs Trolls. I hope they don't mind me robbing it. But this is Vegan. It's D-Marble's show, and Vegan Warrior, Roxanne Glenn, who isn't really featured in this, is there, and Bob are there. Vegan Warrior is not happy with Bob. Let's listen.
First of all, what evidence did you show that giants are actually true?
The bones that have been recovered.
Where are they located? Where are these bones located?
Look, we have picture, we have photographic evidence, we have Michael Cremo. Thank you, Bible Book Club. Michael Cremo. Okay, that is the forbidden archaeologist. He holds a PhD. Curtis, you hold nothing. Okay. He has written about this for years.
A PhD gives justification for giants.
No, a PhD is evidence. It's evidence for giants, Curtis.
There are PhDs that confirm a globe Earth, Bob. Then you're going to come in and make a false claim that someone who has a PhD proved that giants exist.
What evidence do you have that they don't, Mr. No degree whatsoever?
I don't have to prove a negative, Bob. I do not have to.
Oh yeah, but you'll sit there and you'll call us out as shills and propagandists because we are looking at it. Screw you, pal.
Because you're promoting bullshit. That's why. If you're sitting here talking about giants are real based on the Bible, you're a fucking shill.
No, I'm not saying they're real.
You're trying to water down the flat Earth movement, and I'm not gonna let you.
Oh, good. Well, then you just stop me there, Curtis. You just stopped me for sharing my opinion.
Then on top of that, you did that shitty ass documentary Behind the Curve that makes us look even more crazy.
Oh yeah, and I was the one that did all the editing to make us look bad. Is that right, Curtis? Is that your contention? Well, you're an idiot. You're a fucking idiot, okay?
I'm asking you a simple question. Is it pseudoscience?
No. Not
so how is it real science? How has the scientific method applied to Tartaria and your giant claims?
And how is your opinion discredited it?
Why are you answering a question with a question?
Because I don't give a shit about your question.
Because you're a bitch.
You remember the map? You remember me zooming in and it showed Tartaria on the map? Do you remember that?
And that's evidence of what?
Did you debunk the map, Curtis?
I don't need to debunk.
Then shut up.
You shut up, you fucking fat retard. The point is, you're promoting pseudoscience.
I am not promoting anything. You are telling lies. But he crossed the line by essentially coming out. And everybody go listen to that video. It's ridiculous. He's making all these claims that, we're shilling for the flat earth. We're propaganda agents. And then he goes into the fact that we did Behind the Curve just so we can give flat earth a black eye. But for somebody to come out the way that Curtis did and absolutely accuse us of being agents, and literally I have put the last 4 years of my life into flat earth, and I have never made a dime contrary to any belief whatsoever. In fact, all the money that Globebusters has made has gone right back into the people that I support in flat earth, and I've never taken a dime off of it. And that's just a fact. This has cost me dearly to do this, as it has most people that actually promote it, and it's just really unfair and outrageous that somebody would say that I'm shilling as a propagandist against flat earth. It's outrageous.
All you do is argue against straw men. I'm here. I'm live.
No.
I'm right here.
What are you, the scarecrow? You're not a straw man.
My point is, I don't understand how you guys feel by speaking on things that we can't prove, that are nonsensical, how it will help flat earth. There are no killer mud.
You don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know that. That's your opinion.
It was an hypothesis. Now it's a full-fledged belief.
Yeah, you don't know crap, Curtis. You're asserting that you don't, that none of this happened, and you have no evidence. You have no evidence whatsoever for your disbelief.
Bob, you have been compromised.
Oh, give me a break. I've been compromised.
Yes, you have.
Because Vegan Warrior says so?
No,
you're an idiot. Your opinion means jack, pal. Keep it to yourself.
No, I'm sharing it all over the internet.
Fine, share it.
I'm gonna
do
share
whatever.
It every chance I
don't
get.
accuse me of being a shill.
And I'm gonna do it very organized. And I'm gonna point how you are shifting your scientific claims to these nonsensical ideas to downplay and water down flat Earth. That's what you're doing. You're supposed to be an independent science, and you're talking pseudoscience, and you won't even admit Tartaria is pseudoscience.
No, I'm not going to admit that.
That tells me that you're shilling.
What did Bob say in Behind the Curve that made flat earth look crazy?
I told the truth.
What was that, Bob? Tell everybody. What did you tell the truth about?
I told the truth about the fact that a person in our group had bought a fiber optic gyro with his own money and detected a 15 per hour rotation. Now, idiots like, some
so
people...
So the Earth is moving. So
no, the Earth is not moving. I thought you listened to Globebusters, pal. No, the Earth is not moving.
I heard your explanation after the fact, but I seen your video before the fact.
Oh, yeah, and you know what? I also sent the explanation to those people, but they cut it out.
The impression that the Earth is moving. So you...
All right. I've had about enough of his crap. I also sent the video to the producers of Behind the Curve, and they elected to completely omit that evidence that this had been discussed all the way back since the Michelson-Morley and the Aries failure
So
experiment.
the Earth is moving, Bob. Is that yes or no?
No, it's not.
Why did you tell the people that the Earth was moving, Bob?
I didn't, you dumb jackass. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Watch the
Shut
video,
up.
Bob. You just admitted it.
All right, you know what, Daryl? I'm out of here. If you don't eject
bye,
this
Bob.
phone, I am not
Bye,
going
Bob.
to continue this.
Bye, Bob.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go ahead and cut this stream, and I think I might go ahead and delete it.
That's brilliant.
Epic that was, wasn't it?
Oh my god.
You that was amazing. I can't help but think that Vegan Warrior right there was having a moment of clarity where he realized that this guy's a con artist. But he's not realizing that the whole thing is a con. It's just this one particular thing that he's realizing.
See, because I see it like it's kind of what we were saying earlier. Like when like the flat Earth logic is like we don't believe history. You know what I mean? We don't believe this and that. It's like we've got to prove everything by touching it or whatever. It's got to be tangible. And then a lot of them don't do that with this whole thing. So I can see where he'd be really angry about it. Like we're supposed to not believe in anything almost is the flat Earth view. Nothing can be proved. And that's where he's just like, what are you talking about? And for Bob, I just think it's he probably the game's up for him, and he's trying to move on to new things. So I don't know, maybe that's why he was defensive. It
did feel like Bob seemed I don't know a bit flustered there. I thought, and he isn't often challenged. Vegan Warrior made that point actually. He said you don't like challenge. He made that point a couple of times, and
well, we're all familiar with that,
right? And Bob is a person who hasn't exposed himself to any kind of challenge really. I mean,
yeah.
Jaron at least has done a few debates and stuff. With Reds as well, so where he knows he's going to get a battering. So. But Bob's never really done anything like that, and it was good to see him getting called out. I thought because, as you said, that Vegan Warrior was, we saw earlier in the Guardian clip, Bob's described as a scientific rationalist, and here he is talking about giants.
I couldn't help but laugh at that comment. By the way, scientific rationalist. No, that's not where he's coming from. Sorry.
But yeah, it was an epic battle. I did like that. Behind the curve as well. Vegan Warrior wasn't very happy about that either, was he? And this, I don't know what he thought Bob should have done because of, the experiment. The ring laser gyro showed what it showed. Ultimately, Bob had to just say that, didn't he?
Yeah, that was interesting because I don't know anything about that. So they did. He even admits that they.
Yeah, well, what Bob did was he just reinvented luminiferous ether, and he said it was that was the movement that they were detecting.
But Vegan was correct on that one. He said that after the fact. He said that after the actual documentary portion was recorded, because in the documentary he says, yeah, this evidence is pretty bad for us.
Right.
That's what he said in the documentary.
Right.
He didn't say anything about the ether.
Right. So, that's what he had to come up with. And
yeah.
He said that on Globebusters. But unfortunately, none of those shows are around anymore because they got into some trouble over their logo, I believe. A trademark claim against their logo. So they had to take them all down. And
wait a minute, they deleted that?
Well, I don't think they're deleted. I think they probably unlisted.
Private.
Yeah, I think they probably made them private, and I think they are. I think he did say they were going to put them back up, but they've got to take the logo off that's on there and stick a new one on.
That's quite a lot of work, isn't it?
It is, yeah, because they're 3-hour shows, and there's I guess hundreds of them now.
I thought it was great to see them arguing and at each other's throats over these disagreements. It's like they're so silly, but they're so serious.
Yeah.
It's great. It's like kids on the playground arguing about who gets to start with the ball or get to play on what piece of equipment or what. It's just so cool to see.
Right, and you
I
have
love
to
it.
sort of remind yourself that in both cases they're arguing for bullshit. You know, complete and utter bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, it's yeah.
So
it's-
I'm curious, Jim. Was he commenting on a previous video, or was that all the same video? Because right there at the end, D Marvel said he's probably going to delete it.
Yeah,
like I'm kind of confused by that.
It was all one D Marvel show.
Okay.
And
did
but
you
was,
end up downloading
but
it, or
Vegan Warrior
did he delete it? Or
but
what?
Vegan,
Tim
he
has
did
it on his
delete it.
channel.
Yeah.
So that's what's hilarious to me. It's like, really, you guys are going to censor that? Like
Right.
they're going to cover this up because they have two like I guess tier 1 flat earthers that are fighting with each other now. You know.
Right.
I thought it was funny.
Amazing
Roxanne
how
was
quick
just-
they go for that. Sorry, go ahead, Lewis. Sorry.
Roxanne several times like straightened her hair and like was just sitting there very composed. Like everything's fine, nothing's wrong. Just
She did
straightening.
actually interject a couple of times that I didn't include, where she sort of, you know, she tried to find compromise and make peace between them, but it didn't work. You know, I think Vegan wasn't listening. You know, he was talking most of the time throughout. You know, in the background, he was actually very quiet, and I had to go through and boost him up, and that's why when at the times when Bob's talking and he's in the background, he's a lot more muffled because I couldn't boost those. But yeah, I thought there was a great bit where he says, Vegan Warrior says, all you do is argue with straw men, and Bob says, "What, you're straw men? You're not a scarecrow." He's obviously like never heard the term straw man argument before. Maybe I don't know, but Vegan just laughed at him. It was pretty funny. I mean, Bob's usually that's
Bob
the kind
knows.
of phrase
He was just tongue in cheeking that, man.
It's
He
the
knows.
kind of phrase he repeats endlessly. You know, like
yeah.
What are his other phrases? Preponderance of evidence is a thing he says a lot, and he calls things ridiculous a lot.
It was cool. Like there was an escalation of swearing that went on there. Like it went from like dumbass to bullshit to fuck. It's like
Right.
climbing the ladder. Oh, it was really cool. Is that unedited somewhere?
It's on that channel, Charles versus Charles, which is link is in the description.
All right.
And he obviously caught it, part way through, but it's about half an hour in its entirety. I think it's
all right.
Yeah, worth a look. Yeah. So
I
check
think
out
it'd be
that
cool
channel.
to remix parts of that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna remix it to a beat.
So, final thoughts, anyone, before we go?
Lewis should definitely remix it. If no one's ever seen Lewis's Dell water video, it's incredible. Water, pish, water.
It only has like 70 views.
Yeah, you need to watch it. It's one of the greatest things ever.
All right.
All right.
I'd like to end with a quote that I heard this week. I'm not sure I got it verbatim, but the gist of it's right on, so I'm sure that he'll agree with it. It's from Anthony Riley, and he said, "You can't win an argument without cherry picking."
That's the cherry on top of this show.
That's epic, Riley, isn't it? I wish we'd heard him say it. It could have gone in our intro.
Yeah, we need it. We need the clip. Someone find the clip. Send it to Jem.
Where did you hear this from, Twit?
I think it was
I'm pretty sure it was on his own show, one of his coffee shop talk shows and donuts, coffee and donuts, whatever it is.
I will immediately put a query in with Tim Osmond because he will know exactly where it is.
Yeah, he does actually.
He's got a new show, hasn't he? He's like the new before Globebusters. He's trying to rival Globebusters now.
Who's Tim?
Today, Riley's got his goes on it's an hour before Globebusters. That's how he's marketing it.
I like his show, though. I have to say, I think he's done a pretty good job of moderating it. You know, he's been pretty fair. But I mean, I got thrown off, but he'd got Quantum Eraser in there when I was.
It's quite it's Quantum Eraser more than it's not really Riley, is it?
Yeah, but when it's Riley on his own, I think he's there was a really interesting discussion going on. When would it have been? I think it might have been last Sunday or Monday, and it was I don't know. It was about gravity, but it was really good. I learned quite a bit from it.
He's not afraid to get educated in a way and sort of embarrassed quite badly. So he might not pick anything up, but everyone else watching, I've learned a lot watching Riley get schooled by people.
Yeah, it's a good place to get educated. Right, well, say goodbye. That is our show for this week. Join us again next week for more fabulous flatness. And in the meantime, if you see something that you think should be included in the show, please post a timestamp link in the comments section of this video. Or join our Discord server. The link is in the description, along with channel links for tonight's panel. Our Discord has over now 1,200 members, and we managed to keep a conversation going virtually 24/7. We welcome members with opposing views, so click the link and join us. Thanks again to tonight's fabulous panel, and thanks to all of you for watching. We'll be back around the same time next week, so until then, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Have a great evening.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jim. Hey, Jim, by the way.
You're misleading the public. You're lying to people.
We are part of a giant studio set. All the world's a stage, and you're on it.
Jesus Christ, can suck my dick? Suck my dick? Suck my dick, Earth, with that bullshit.
Man's getting rude. Man's getting rude.
I'm lucky to you, right?
It could be a what's it? It could be an onion ring.
A hairless monkey zipping through the vacuum, or a potato rock.
Yeah, if we dumped what we found right now, we would be, it'd be bad. It would be bad.
You can't have a flat Earth and things making sense.